Hello, hope you're having a great day. Welcome to my channel. In my last video, we saw how I rescued this young starling from underneath the floorboards. And if you've not seen that video yet, I've put a link to it at the end of this video. I'm going to show you how we hand-fed the bird, that we have named Dennis, before finally setting him free. I managed to get a used bird cage locally for a couple of pounds. I made him something to eat, using dry cat food, which I soaked in hot water to make it soft. I then added the yolk from a hard-boiled egg, and a teaspoon of unsweetened applesauce. Then all three ingredients are mixed together to form a smooth paste. You can add more hot water if required, to get the right consistency. On the first day, he refused to eat, but the next day, he started to take the food, although he still doesn't trust me, and is quite scared. I'm using the end of a coffee stirrer to offer the food, and this seems to work well. He must be hungry, as he's not eaten for nearly 3 days. I'm having to feed him approximately every half hour or so, but the feeding doesn't take very long. And when he's had enough, he won't eat anymore. And usually he makes a low chirping sound as if he's content. After just a couple of days, I started to gain his trust, and he now comes to the front of the cage for his meal. However, I don't want him to get too friendly or tame, as once we release him, he will have to fend for himself. So I decided to introduce some food, and a small amount of water into his cage, to see if he would willingly feed himself. Starlings are omnivores, so they will pretty much eat anything. During the summer, they mostly eat insects, seeds, and nuts. And fruit and berries, during the winter. I tried him on some bananas, and an apple with the seeds removed. And a dish of dried mealworms. I also added a small bowl of water. At first, he didn't seem very interested. But within a couple of days, I noticed him occasionally taking mealworms from the dish. And before long, he started to become more independent. Within a few more days, he stopped taking the food from me altogether, and was now feeding himself. However, he was only eating the mealworms and didn't appear to be interested in the fruit. Around the same time, Dennis the starling was spending less time on the bottom of the cage, and more time on the perches. And he was using his wings much more, trying out his flying skills, in the limited space of the cage. And he seems very keen to escape the confines of his temporary home. So it will soon be time to say goodbye to him. So while we move the cage outside, here's a little information about starlings. The European starling has a bit of a love-hate relationship with humans. They are an invasive and aggressive species that has a bad reputation. But they are somewhat beneficial to agriculture by keeping gypsy moths, caterpillars, and many other obnoxious insects under control. The adults have a beautiful black glossy plumage, covered in brilliant white spots. Our bird should get his adult plumage sometime between late summer and winter. In captivity, starlings adapt quite well, and can even mimic human speech. In fact, the composer Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart kept a pet starling for 3 years and taught the bird to recite the opening melody of the third movement of his Piano Concerto No. 17, in G major. When his precious bird died, Mozart even arranged a funeral ceremony and erected a gravestone. So whether you love these birds like Mozart, or hate them, I think you will agree, these starling murmurations are both beautiful and mesmerizing. Welcome back. We've moved our bird's cage outside, and we are about to release him. It looks like he is in the mood for some breakfast first. I will try to persuade him to fly out. And there he goes.